Hey guys, this is Mommy to Wife of One. It is January 12th, 2016, or as I like to call it, 112 Day. Yay! For those who know me, I'm a huge 112 fan, so anytime it's 112, I get really excited. But aside from all that, thank you guys for joining me again this week, and thank you so much for just your comments, your questions, just I've had really good conversations with a lot of you, and I'm so incredibly appreciative of you all. Today, I actually want to talk about something I read in a book recently. I read and write book reviews for a magazine based in New York, and a book I read and finished today starred three women and just different issues they're having in their marriages and in their relationships, and how through their friendship they bonded together and got through all these issues. And one of the women, her husband, just kind of out of the blue, after they've been married for 10 years and they're the parents of 5-year-old twin boys, out of the blue, he said he wants a divorce. And from his standpoint, he's feeling very just kind of suffocated, and he was like, my life is just miserable. Didn't say she was a miserable person, but that she made life miserable. And it was the very first chapter of the book, and so it kind of came out of nowhere for her, and obviously for me as the reader, like, oh, why is he wanting to divorce this person? But when it gets into her own inner monologue of all the stuff she does for her husband, all the stuff she does for her kids, it was made very apparent that she fell into the trap that a lot of women fall into when they get married, when they have kids. Her entire life was consumed with taking care of this man and taking care of these two boys. She, did everything in the world for them, and it's not a bad thing to do that, obviously, but she made them her entire world to the point where she didn't really have an identity of her own, and she didn't have a life outside of them. So him dropping a bomb that I'm divorcing you, she's losing part of her identity, and she's losing part of her purpose in life. So now she has to figure out, what am I going to do? My whole world was him, and even her having this inner monologue, she still didn't understand the problem. And it was just a matter of her. It explained why she was so controlling and why he felt so suffocated. And again, it reminded me that a lot of women, when they first get married and when they have kids, they tend to do that. And it's not a bad thing, because I think a lot of us do it unintentionally. But when you first get married or have kids, you are so consumed with the newness of it all and trying to be the perfect wife, trying to be the perfect mother, making sure your kids and your husband have 3 square meals a day, the house is clean, the laundry is done, the dry cleaning is picked up on time, the meals are nutritious and delicious, and you're so consumed with making life perfect for your family that you do neglect yourself. And it's very hard but very essential to get back to you. When my son was born, when he was about 2 years old, I started thinking, like, I haven't done anything for myself that's fun. And after making that statement, I said, I need to do something that's just for me. But when I started thinking about it, I couldn't remember what I used to find fun before I had him. And I realized that I had kind of fallen into that trap where I was getting up in the morning, and, I was doing Baby Can Read with him and helping him to learn his letters, and we're doing counting, and we're going to story time so he could, learn the songs and interact with other kids. And then I'm going to like a mommy class so I can interact with other moms. But there was nothing that was just for me. Everything was for him, and to make sure that his development was great, and make sure that he had, social activities, and make sure that he's learning and all this other great stuff. And it was great for him, and it was great for me as a mom to see him learning these new things. But I realized I didn't have an outlet for myself. And because I couldn't remember what I used to consider fun before I had him, I realized that getting back to me and getting back to, whatever I like, meant at that moment figuring out what the new version of me was going to be like. Because a lot of things that you like and that you are passionate about and that you crave or whatever, a lot of those things that you like post pre-wedding or pre-children, those things tend to change with your priorities. Your perspective about a lot of things change once you have kids and once you get married. You start kind of looking at things differently and figuring out what things are a waste of time or a waste of money. And it's not a bad thing that your perspective may change and that some of those things that kind of fall by the wayside, but it is important to find something that is just for you. Take the time to invest in yourself, whether it's booking a spa day once a month, or it's going on a hike, or it's taking a cooking class, or it's I don't know, it could be anything, whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you feel free, whatever that in that exact moment of you doing this thing, you're not thinking about your husband, you're not thinking about your kids, you're thinking about, wow, this feels so good, this is relaxing, this is fulfilling, I'm learning, I'm growing, this is so great for me. Because if you don't do that for yourself, and if your life is tied to your husband or your kids or whatever, once they're gone, whether it's out of town, whether unfortunately if they pass away, you're going to be stuck and you're going to be just frantic and manic because you've lost everything. Once they leave, and even if they don't leave, you still need to be a whole person yourself. The way I think about it is, I have a daughter now, and she may or may not become a mom in the future, but if she does become a mom in the future, I want her to see, okay, my mom was there for me. She always read me books, and she kept me fed, and we went on road trips, and we went on play dates, and we did all this stuff. But my mom would leave once a month for a couple hours, to get her nails done, to get her hair done, to go to a play, to go to a movie. She, took herself to a concert or whatever it is. I want her to see that her mom was more than a mom. I was also a woman, and I want her to see me as a wife, and I want her to see me as a mom, but I want her to understand that me being having the title of mommy now does not mean that's all I am. I was not born a mommy, and I was not born a wife. I was born as mommy of two, wife of one, but I'm not going to die mommy of two, wife of one. So, just to let her know, and let any other little girl around me know, that it's okay to love your family. It's okay to do things for them, but you need to be able to stand on your own as well and get back to you and get back to what makes you happy. So that's my message for this week. I hope that it made sense. I hope that it's a good reminder to some of you who, are kind of consumed with your families. And again, it's not a bad thing to want to do things for your family, but it's crucial that you do stuff for yourself as well. It's going to make you a better wife and a better mother if you are a whole person. So thank you guys again for listening this week. If you have any questions or any topic suggestions, please send me an email at momof2wifeof1@gmail.com. That's mom of the number 2 wife of one at gmail.com. And I'll see you all next week.